The Northtown News Magazine is brought to you in part by eVoter. eVoter is proud to be a sponsor of the Northtown News Magazine.
Hi, I'm Jesse White, Illinois Secretary of State, and I want Marty Levinson to know that I'm cutting all the waste in the Secretary of State's office.
Hello, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine.
Wouldn't this world be a better place if every single man, woman, and child said, "Hi, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine"?
Hi, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine show with Sonny Hirsch, our cameraman, and the greatest host around, Sonny Myers.
Thank you, Marty. Avi Myers, Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine. Presentation of Sonny Hirsch and myself. Dial us up on the web, and don't forget, early voting is starting very soon. We can't, as you know, you're watching a political show, so you probably know we do emphasize voting. Plus, Jewish Chicago will be out on the newsstands for the start of early voting. So anything you'd like to get in there, it's time to contact me ASAP and, talk to me about Jewish Chicago. And it's going to be out in strength as always. We do at least 15,000 copies, plus on the web, so it's really been a pretty great experience. Anyhow, speaking of great experiences, it's a pleasure. And this happens close to once a year. I wish it happened more often. He's a busy guy. We're talking about one of the really, really fine people in politics, as well as just regular life, the Secretary of State of Illinois, Jesse White. How are you?
Avi, nice to see you. And by the way, Happy New Year.
Thank you very much. And if you don't know, he's a landsman.
Yes.
So, take that for granted. And we want to wish you, to all of you out there, a Shana Tova u'Misuka, and we hope all of you had a Chasima and a Chasiva Tova.
Okay, thank you.
Too many years of Jewish school. In any event, you know what? This is almost, I haven't heard a thing about the campaign because, frankly, everybody's so happy with you that your opponent actually just, he wrote me one email and I didn't even bother to respond.
Well, I met him for the first time the other day, and I was kind of disappointed in him that before I got a chance to introduce myself to him for the first time, he was asked some of the people what was the conversation like with him. He says, "Well, I'm a Mexican," and he was saying that all Latinos should vote for him, and they should not ever stoop to the level of voting for an African American.
That kind of sounds a little bit racist to me.
Well, I've been in office for 34 years, and I've never asked anyone to support me because of my race. I think it's a violation of all laws of human decency for anyone to do that, play that card.
It's a pretty rotten. First of all, if anything in the world, you take care of so many people of every single possible race, creed, color, national origin, probably more countries than I know exist. And not just through what you do here, but the Jesse White tumblers, which is really a remarkably good thing.
Well, thank you. When I came to this office back in 1999, someone asked me, "What kind of an office do you want?" I said, "I want the best office ever. But more importantly, I want a good cross-section of people from every ethnic background. So when people look at the Secretary of State's office, it's like looking at the United Nations or looking at America. This is a melting pot. It's the greatest country on the face of the earth. We want to make sure that we make it possible for everyone to participate in the political process and providing the services to the people of the state of Illinois in a manner in which they can be proud."
No, and that you not only done. I mean, you've done some. As a matter of fact, there happens to be a letter from you. At least you probably didn't personally sign it, which basically this year will allow me, because I've been good enough not to have any tickets that I've been convicted of anyway. Basically, that it's going to allow me just to go downtown and take a vision test, which I didn't have to take last time. Matter of fact, last time, it was great. Last time, because I didn't have any violations, they told me if my height and weight is about the same and I look close to the same, I can just keep the same license, and they sent me a sticker for the back. Well, and now I just have to go downtown and get an eye test and bang.
Well, that's a part of modernizing, computerizing, and bringing the office into the 21st century. We use technology a lot as our ally. No longer do the people have to come into our office, or any of our 138 offices, bring the sleeping bag, duffel bag, lunch pail, while they are awaiting the services to be dispensed to them. We're proud of what we've been able to do. There's a lot more for us to do, a lot more to be done, and we're up for the task.
I want to tell you, we've actually, over the years before you, had to discuss strategies, and we talked between ourselves. How long does it take at Elston Avenue? How long is it out in Morton Grove? Where can we, even though Morton Grove might be a lot further, it might be our best bet to go there. You've done your best to really streamline things.
Well, no matter, I have 138 offices and 23 agencies and 4,000 employees. And we want all of our offices to look alike when it comes to providing the services to the people in a timely manner and in a highly professional way. And of course, we want people within my office to treat you like you deserve to be treated. You're the taxpayers of the state of Illinois. You're a human being. Treat my customers the way you like to be treated. If you do less than that, then there's a little price you have to pay. And that price could be tough. I've gotten rid of over 700 employees.
And that's, by the way, no, you're right. If you have to treat people properly. And I remember the arrogance that used to be around when I was younger in the Secretary of State's office. And I'm glad I didn't run into the people that would have expected a little something extra. That, thank God, I don't hear stories about it all anymore.
Well, there are a couple of things. When I came to, my daughter worked for the Secretary of State's office 5 years before I arrived.
Oh, wow.
And she worked in a division called the Revenue Department where you had about 200 individuals. There were 10 college grads, and she was the only CPA. So when I became the Secretary of State, I promoted her to become the person in charge of $2 billion for the state of Illinois. And not a penny is unaccounted for. So she's doing a great job. The point I'm really trying to make with that, and that is, I don't care what your ethnic background is. I don't care whether you're pink, blue, green, or yellow. There's a place in the Secretary of State's office for you when you take the test, fill out the application, take the test, and you commit yourself to performing the duties that are before you. I served in the military. I was a paratrooper with the 101st Airborne Division. You jump an airplane out, you don't jump and stop halfway, it's all the way. And I spent 10 years in the military, 2 as a paratrooper, 4 as a guardsman, 4 as a reservist. When there's a mission before you, you see it from its beginning to its conclusion. There's no middle ground, there's no compromise. And that's how I run my life, and that's the way I run the Secretary of State's office. I just want people who take on the job, take on the responsibility that goes with it, and treat the people the way you want to be treated.
That's exemplary. I really like that. By the way, one thing I'll just show you, you being a lanceman, this actually is an official Army issue yarmulke.
Oh my God!
And yeah, these days camouflage. This was given to me by Mark Wyman, who's a Republican candidate in the 7th Congressional District. He's a West Point graduate. And one of my previous guests today was also a West Pointer. So I just had it on. But you mentioned the Army. I just wanted to show people.
Well,
I think
that's beautiful.
It's cool. It's different. That's for sure.
Beautiful.
You know what? One of the things I like about you is there's also no shortage of ideas, and interesting ideas, and they usually work. For instance, the whole idea with the driver's license being a certain way for certain people and all that.
Oh, yeah. I'd like to show you that. You see, when you see a driver's license that's vertical,
yeah,
it means that the person is under the age of 21. Once you reach majority age, we're talking about 21 years of age, it becomes horizontal. But we have a state-of-the-art document that we've been able to give to the people of the state of Illinois. It has a red top to it.
Yeah.
You look at it, and there are about 4 security features on the front that you could see. And then when you use the black light and swipe it, there are about 3 more security features, but deeply embedded, there may be about another 9 or 10 security features deeply embedded into the material. It's one of the best documents ever devised by man and woman, and we're proud that we've been able to give that to the people of the state of Illinois.
Actually, because I actually just got a sticker last time, and I haven't had a new license now in something like 8 or 9 years, I'll get to see the new features. Mine is just about breaking apart at this point.
Well, let me say what happens. If your license happens to break apart, then you go in and then they will give you a new one.
Oh, I don't. Does that cost money or?
It should be a part of your renewal.
Cool.
If it's time for you to renew, then of course it costs you.
It is, by the way. You should also.
This is the new license.
Oh, that's the new one?
It's the new license. And let me share with you some of the features.
Sure.
Here, there's a hologram. And if you look at it, you'll see Illinois, Illinois, Illinois. You have to turn it to a certain way. You have those lines, the blue lines and the red lines. Those are called gouache lines. And then you have 2 pictures. That's a ghost image. It's hard to duplicate.
Cool.
And then when you swipe it with the black light, or like they do at the airport,
Yeah.
or like they do with the passport, then they will see about 3 more security features, but deeply embedded about 9 to 10 additional features that we know about.
Oh, having the old license, and I just flew last month. They didn't swipe it or anything. I guess they knew not to. That's cool.
But you know, there's something else that we're proud of too, and that is our license plates are made in Decatur, Illinois by disabled people.
Oh, nice.
And the stickers are made in a town called Freeburg, Illinois by disabled people. And you remember, Avi, when they used to steal your sticker off of your license plate?
It happened to me.
Well, it's not advantageous for you to do it anymore because when you look at the sticker and you look at your license plate, the 2 numbers match.
Oh, wow.
If your number is Avi on your license plate, it's the same on your sticker. Yeah. And we have excellent glue on it as well.
Cool.
The other thing that I think that your listening audience should know about, and that is, if you drive along the highway and you decide that you want to throw some garbage out the window, that's a $1,500 fine, and you can spend a year in jail.
Wow.
It doesn't pay to be a litter bug. And that's why we want to teach young kids early on, that if you eat a candy bar, drink a can of juice or pop or whatever the case may be, find a receptacle, find a waste can, garbage can, dispose of it that way, not over the shoulder or not on the ground. And the same thing holds true with graffiti. We teach our kids, put your artistic thoughts and ideas and your artwork on paper, not on the walls.
That's a really good idea. Although, speaking of graffiti, when I was in another city last month, and I actually took a ride on the subway. I don't think there was a square inch of cement that was available to be painted on by anybody. And in that city, at least I'll say their graffiti people are a little more creative than they are in Chicago.
Well, in Chicago, we do a great job of getting rid of getting rid of it.
You got the graffiti busters, and
sure.
People should know that if you call 311. Yeah. By the way, Sonny Hirsch, my entire technical crew, is also chairman of the advisory committee of the 24th district. We're all into community policing. I'm a civilian beat facilitator also. And as a matter of fact, you know what? It's funny, when I got an award from the Illinois State Crime Commission, you were over there. You carried in the flag.
Oh, yes. That was out at Oakbrook Terrace.
Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a great organization, and I just want to plug them in and thank you and that great organization for its giving and caring spirit and for its commitment to making a difference.
No, I like them very much. It is a top organization, no question about it.
I don't know if you know this, since we're talking about law enforcement, it costs we, the taxpayers here in Illinois, between $20,000 and $60,000 a year to put one person in prison for 1 year.
Wow.
And 83% of people in prison today have not graduated from high school. So now you know and I know who the people are who create problems for Wayne society. That's why it's important for us to make sure that we get behind an effort to make sure these young people are properly educated, because that's where the breakup begins. When they drop out of school, then terrible things develop. Terrible things happen. And so we want to make sure that we keep them in school and make sure that we give them the guidance and the direction that they need in order to become a productive citizen in our society.
Yeah, one of the things that you've done over the years, and if I'm not mistaken, you don't take a nickel for it either, is the Jesse White tumblers.
Well, you get it, you give it back. And a fellow by the name of Abraham Lincoln Marovitz, who swore me in twice as the Cook County Recorder of Deeds, taught me this lesson. He said, remember, Jess, do something good for someone every day. And I've never forgotten it.
It's a great saying.
That came from a good landsman. But the Jesse White tumblers is...
The Jesse White tumblers?
Jesse White. We've been around...
He was kidding with me about that earlier.
We've been around, I mean, for 51 years.
Wow.
And we celebrated our 50th anniversary in February at the United Center, on the floor of the United Center.
Wow.
And we're in the process of building a building at 412 West Chicago Avenue. It will be a state-of-the-art facility where these young people can come to become better educated and better informed. It's a fitness center, gymnastic room, gymnasium, human performance lab. It is the TP, the total package. And we expect to break ground sometime next spring. But getting back to the tumblers, 275 young people on the team.
Wow.
6 units, 1,500 shows this year.
Wow.
We turned down about 15 about 300 requests because we cannot put them into our schedule. We have 23 young men and women in college. You can be a good athlete. We want you to be a good student and a good human being. We are proud of the fact, too, that we will start this Saturday with 400 young people training at the Moody Bible Institute, Wells and Oak in Chicago, and Ada Park, 112th and Ada Park District facility. And so we are going to use those facilities until our facility is built. And we are actively involved in making sure that these young people understand that they cannot drop out of school to become a part of SWU, Sidewalk University.
Oh, it's a new one.
Yeah, they sell on the corners, okay?
Yeah.
And then we want them to be leafless, smokeless, and pipeless. The only time they should practice pharmacy is after wearing a white coat. That means no drugs. So we're involved with what's called Tough Love. Yeah. And we've traveled to Tokyo, Japan on 3 occasions for Nippon Television, China, Hong Kong for the Chinese New Year, Honolulu, Hawaii, Honokai, Hawaii, 17 times to Canada, twice to Bermuda, once to the Cayman Islands, 4 movies and 25 commercials.
Wow.
So we are determined to make a difference in the lives of these young people. And as I said before, when you get it, you give it back.
Absolutely, that sounds great. And it's really it's not only a terrific organization, almost anybody who's seen the show knows how great it is. When I go to some of the Jewish things here, when your groups appear, it's like that's a reason for people to go out to come see it. And when you start, like a lot of other things stop, or the people watching something else stop and go over to see your performances.
Thank you. There's an organization, Jewish organization, I think it's called Wi-Fi or something like that. Wi-Fi.
Oh, there's a building called the Wi-Fi building.
That's right. We performed there about 2 weeks ago. And I think that their mission is to help these young kids who become disabled. Yeah,
there's a number of different organizations within the building, and one of them does help with that sort of thing, yes.
They serve as a safety net, the light in the tunnel for these young people. And I just want them to know that their efforts have not gone unnoticed. Take care of your fellow man and woman. When you do that, you should feel better about it, and it's the right thing to do.
That's great stuff, absolutely. By the way, I actually get a lot of requests sometimes when you're here, like let me know when the Secretary of State's here because they like to show up. The only thing is if I invite one, I probably have to invite 50. And I want you to know almost no one else I get asked about. You're the one that gets asked about the most along those lines.
Well, thank you. Well, I'm enjoying the job as Secretary of State, and I don't know if you know that I served with a good friend by the name of Howie Carroll.
I used to see you over at 50 Fest.
That's right, and Lee Preston.
Yeah, he's now Judge Preston.
That's right. And Ira Silverstein.
Our state senator.
And Lou Lang.
State representative.
And Jill Zwick. She works for me, but she at one time served in the General Assembly. And so I established a wonderful working relationship with these wonderful human beings. And I just wanted your listening audience to know that and Arthur Berman, by the way, I forgot him.
State senator, and as a matter of fact, he was my parent. My parents used him for like a real estate transaction.
Good guy, good people.
Yeah,
and they can attest to my commitment and concern about programs in the General Assembly that affected the Jewish community.
No question. Listen, bad words about you don't happen, except from some Claude you mentioned earlier. But
he happens to be Hispanic.
But I just said Claude because that's a generic term. I don't like to sing whatever. But you know what? Speaking of that, also just to tell people, I wanted to thank very much. Beth Kaufman, who's here today, who brought you, and Dave Drucker from your office, who are the she didn't technically bring you; she was the advanced person.
That's right.
But who were the people that, when I have you here, make the arrangements. So the fact of the matter is, you're somebody who doesn't just talk the talk; you also walk the walk.
Oh, thank you. As I was leaving the office, Dave Drucker told me to be sure to give you.
Yeah, Dave's a really, really good guy.
Give you his best. And then Beth Kaufman is best in the brightest, the sharpest knife in the drawer.
Yeah, so Dave once told me that she lived near here. I didn't know she lives literally around the corner.
Right around the corner.
And she's got her own vegetable garden.
Oh, talk about that.
I hope her neighbors don't bug her now.
Well, I think her husband works for Fox. He's a cameraman for Fox.
Oh, really?
And at one time, Beth worked for Fox.
Wow.
And now she works for the Secretary of State's office. She's the assistant. She's the deputy director, assistant deputy director. of the communications department.
Oh, very nice.
Yes.
Oh, and she also told me a fellow Columbia College graduate.
Oh, that's great. She's quite bright and a very nice looking young lady, and her husband did well.
Sounds good to me. No, she's extremely intelligent, there's no question. And she made sure we were totally entertained while we were waiting for you.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know if you know this, but maybe I can share it with you. And that is, as of January 1, we initiated a new program called the BAID device, B-A-I-I-D, Breath Alcohol Ignition Interlock Device. When you get caught drinking and driving, and you still want to be able to get from one place to the other while we are taking care of your administrative problems, you can ask for the BAID device to be placed in your car through the judge or through the Secretary of State's office. And the device costs about $1,500 a year. You blow into the tube of alcohol, detect it, and the car won't start.
Wow.
And I was at a high school, and the young lady asked, Mr. Secretary, if he can't blow into it successfully, can't I blow into it for him? I said, well, yes, you can. I said, but if you do that, you're looking for a 1-year period of time in jail. That's a no-no. Can't do that. But it should also send another message to you, and that is, you're in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong person at the wheel.
That's for sure.
So we're proud of the fact that we have that device out there. But then we also have something else that your viewing audience should know about, and that is the emergency contact database. There are times when you may have a heart attack, a stroke, or you're involved with an automobile accident. We know who you are. We're talking about the first responders know who you are because you'll have something on your person that would identify you. But the problem is, how do we get in touch with your next of kin? Now, you go to our website, www.cyberdriveillinois.com, www.cyberdriveillinois.com, and you go to the emergency contact database section. And then two positions will appear, and you have an opportunity to place 2 names in our system so that anytime there's an accident or you want to get in touch with your next of kin, they can go to that site and find out who you want to be contacted. There are times when people will lie in the hospital for months and years, and you're out looking for them, can't find them. There are times when an accident may occur and you cannot take certain drugs. It's important to have someone who's closely allied with you to be there to speak for you and to aid you and aid the first responders.
No, that's true. I know, like, for instance, there's one particular drug that I take that if, God forbid, something happened to me, I'd have to make sure that whoever was handling me was aware of it.
Sure. And then, we got involved, not far from here. There was an accident a few years ago, and 6 young drivers, young students were involved. And there was an outcry from the people from Lincolnwood and the Northwest Side to change the driving age from 16 to 18. So John D'Amico, who is the representative from that area, came to me and he said, Mr. Secretary, I would like your assistance in changing the driving age from 16 to 18. And I said, well, John, I said, in the northern part of the state of Illinois, people can get from point A to point B rather quickly through way of L, subway, bus, train, car, the list goes on and on. I said, but in central Illinois and southern Illinois, the only way to get from one place to the other is by way of an automobile. And then there are times when these young students may be involved with extracurricular activities in the band, in the orchestra, dancing, basketball, football, soccer, tennis, the list goes on, and their parents are at work. So how do these people, and they may work, how do we get them from one place to the other? By way of an automobile. And I said, if we can teach these young drivers how to operate successfully behind the wheel of an automobile, we're going to get a bigger bang for the buck. We required parents to spend 50 hours behind the wheel with the child. Of those 50 hours, 10 of those hours are at night, and we cover a 9-month period of time. We also found that nighttime driving creates a problem for the young driver. They can only drive up to 11 o'clock at night on weekends, 10 o'clock during the week. We also realized that the young drivers get themselves into deep trouble when they have too many friends in the car. It becomes a distraction. You can only have one friend in the car with you for the first 1-year period of time.
Interesting.
And then we also found, too, that most of the school district would spend 1 hour behind the wheel with the child rather than 6 hours. 1 hour with the instructor, 5 hours with the simulator. And then we put the contract on our website. And so the parent will pull it off the website, read it, child would read it, both will affix their signature to it. So if there's a problem with the person's kids driving, they can always pull the contract out and get the keys back from the child. And the final thing is, parents can petition my office to get a PIN number so they can access our system so that they can find out how well the child is driving or how poorly the child is driving. So I said all that to say this. Our report card came back after 1.5 years of this program being in existence. We have received a 52% reduction in the loss of lives at the hands of these 16-year-olds.
That's very significant, no question.
So it works, and we're working now to bring those numbers down to 0.
Yeah, that would be excellent. At this point, we have about a half a minute left, and I want to thank very much our special guest, Jesse White, Secretary of State of Illinois. I want to thank, my pleasure, I want to thank Beth Kaufman and Dave Drucker for helping getting you here. Want to remind, and by the way, I know this is going to come as a big shock to you because it happens all the time, but even though I haven't quite written the story yet, the paper will be out and you will be endorsed by Jewish Chicago.
Oh, thank you.
And I'd vote for you early and often, but the state's attorney won't let me do that. What can I tell you?
Thank you.
At this point, I want to thank my entire technical crew, Sonny Hirsch, and early voting's coming soon. Take care, be well, bye-bye.